It's a new year, and that usually comes with New Year's resolutions. Commitments to improve upon your skills, knowledge, and well-being. I love New Year's resolutions, but honestly, I'm the kind of person who can decide, Monday I'm starting this, and I can usually stay pretty consistent, at least until I hit a busy point in the year with work or other commitments. But this year, I want it to be different. I want to stick to my plans and achieve all my goals no matter what. And here's where we hit a different snag in the plan. I have a lot of goals, and a lot of my goals don't directly align with one another. I want to practice consistently. I want to finish a play I've been writing. I want to post consistently and grow this YouTube channel. One of my biggest pitfalls with setting goals is the actual setting of the goals. I am way too comfortable sitting down and writing 85 things that I need to do every single day or else I'm a failure, because that's just not realistic. But I know a lot of people are in the same boat as I am. Many hobbies, not enough time. I also struggle to find time in between a full-time job, having a girlfriend, a general social life, trying to be present on social media, generally being alive, and so on. So this video is my collected knowledge on why you not only should have multiple hobbies, but how to keep up with all of them in the new year.
Part 1. You should have multiple hobbies.
You've heard of the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none. Usually used to describe somebody who's good at a wide variety of things and has a wide base of knowledge, but who doesn't really specialize in anything specifically. Depending on the tone, this could be a compliment or an insult. I don't think anyone would argue that knowing about a lot of things isn't good. But at the same time, the world seems hyper-fixated in putting everyone and everything in a box that is neatly labeled and organized. You see this in practice in the music world all the time. A piano player can go through music school and never touch another instrument or sing, which is fine, but then you ask them to sit in on a jazz jam session and they say that they can only play classical piano. Then you go to one of their concerts and realize that all that they play is Bach fugues. And while I'm sure that those fugues sound great, and the performer knows almost everything there is to know about Bach and his performance practices, that always struck me as incredibly limiting. I was a vocal concentration going through school, but I took piano lessons and classes that taught me how to play woodwind and brass instruments. That carried over into the series on this channel where I learned instruments in 30 days. And while I don't think I'll ever be amazing at every instrument there is, that perspective, the ability to see and interpret music in a different way, has helped me grow immensely as a musician and a creative person. I'm comfortable playing in different styles and on different instruments. I recently played a concert where I had a harmonica solo just because I was the only person around who could play the harmonica, or at least say that I could, and then learned that for the concert. Doing some research into the title Jack of all trades, the second half, Master of none, wasn't introduced until later. Much later. The original phrase can be dated back to 1612, but other variations of the term using different languages can be found much farther than that. Master of none was introduced in the 1700s, which follows the shift from holistic knowledge to more specialized mastery of specific topics and skills. This is a give and take. If I'm having open heart surgery, I want my doctor to be a specialist in open heart surgery. But are you performing open heart surgery? I'm not. If you are, good on you. You can stop this video and probably go study or something. But if you're not, if you're like me, just a person with a lot of interests and a passion for learning, why would you deprive yourself of so many different points of view, so many different perspectives on the world? With all the controversy of the term jack of all trades, I actually like to go by a different name. When I was in college during the pandemic, many of the school's recording services were shut down. Me, being really interested in filmmaking and having a lot of my own equipment, started getting requests from other students to film their performances. I quickly became the go-to person on campus for recording student recitals and other things like that. And that quickly led to more opportunities. A lot of my photography ended up on the School of Music's social media page. I even made an interview clip and trailer for an upcoming concert with the top ensemble that I sang in at the time. A professor of mine who knew me as a choral singer saw me recording a recital one day and came up to me afterwards and called me a Renaissance man. At the time, I didn't know what that meant, so I looked it up. As you could guess, it basically means the same thing as a jack of all trades. Many interests, well-versed in knowing things. But this wasn't a backhanded compliment. This was somebody being impressed with my breadth of knowledge. Not only in skills that they shared with me, but in skills that they didn't understand and I did. The term harkens back to the Renaissance masters. Niccolo Machiavelli, Isabella d'Este, Leonardo da Vinci. people known and celebrated for giving so much of themselves up to so many different mediums of arts and science. They were scientists, architects, painters, sculptors, writers, and the list goes on. This opportunity to record recitals for other music students was a microcosm into the bigger realization that I had. The more you know, the more you can do, and the more you can do for money. Let me be clear, not everything you do needs to be paid. The first recital I recorded was a good friend, and of course I didn't charge for that. Making money is not the point of having a lot of different interests, though I do think it does make you more marketable, especially in the world of arts that I am pursuing. But no, not every hobby needs to be a paying hobby, and not every hobby you have needs to be done well. That would actually be impossible. Which leads me to my next point.
Part 2. Some hobbies are more important, and that's okay.
The hardest truth you need to come to terms with if you truly want to be a Renaissance man, gender neutral term by the way, is you need to prioritize things over one another. One of my goals this year is to sit down and practice piano every single day. I care a lot about this goal and I want to see huge improvements in my piano playing throughout the year. I also have a goal to practice guitar regularly, and while this is a meaningful goal to me, it doesn't share the same passion as my goal for the piano. So I practice piano every single day, but I'll only touch the guitar a few times a week, and that's okay. When you realize it's okay to have different levels of passion for your hobbies and goals, it's very freeing. You know you can't do everything in a day, it's only 24 hours, but regular exposure is better than nothing. So you need to look inside yourself, or better yet, write it down. Get a sheet of paper and write down everything you want to do in the new year. Every goal, every idea, every commitment you want to stick to. Then look at that list and rank them in order of which ones are more important to you. And there's no wrong order, this is your list. After that, you can plan accordingly. Some of my goals this year are to practice piano and guitar, which I already mentioned. I want to read every day, no specific time or page limit. So again, if I'm busy with another goal or if school picks up, I could open a book and read 5 sentences and still have made some progress. I'm embarrassed by how many books in that last shot have not been read since they've been purchased. I want to continue to post consistently on this channel, and that is something that I am very passionate about, so I make sure to set aside time every week to write, record, and edit these videos. You will progress at different speeds through your different paths, and that's normal. If you feel like you're not making as much progress as you'd like in a certain field, maybe allocate more time to that by putting something else lower on your list of priorities. Don't give it up, just focus on it less. For example, I love to cook, but I'm not very good at it. I can follow a recipe fine, but I can't get too creative in the kitchen by myself. And I could fix that if I put it higher on my list of priorities, but I don't. I have other goals to reach, and I'm okay with where I'm at in my cooking progress, and the time I'm giving to that goal. But I don't stay in a plateau either. Every month or so, I'll look up a new recipe and try to make it. This helps me start to put pieces together in my head. What needs an acidic agent? How long should this probably cook for? How big is a cup? While it's not fast progress, it's noticeable. This mindset made me feel like I had a huge weight off my shoulders. Not feeling like you need to progress at the same time with all of your skills or be the best in anything makes you feel more free and actually able to enjoy the journey of getting better. And I actually think that being bad at some of your hobbies can be a good thing. When you're doing something for a career or at a very high level, there's usually a lot of pressure associated with that skill and doing it well. I've been a professional musician for years. My income comes from teaching, playing, singing, transcribing, writing, and a bunch of other things that all have to do with music. And because of that, I can't experience music in the way that someone who just loves music can. That's just the way it is. I still love it and it's very special to me, but it's always going to be different. But something like cooking is still very new and exciting to me. I can make as many mistakes as I want and it doesn't really matter. There's no pressure on me to be good at cooking, so it's just fun, and I just enjoy doing it. Now, there's one more secret to succeeding as a Renaissance man in 2025. But before I reveal it, if you've been liking this video, I would really appreciate you leaving a like. It helps the channel grow, which, like I said, is one of my big goals this year. It would mean a lot. Thanks.
Part 3. Goal-oriented progress.
I've said the word goal a lot in this video, so let me define what I mean. Some of your resolutions might be to read more, or go to the gym. And that's great, but they're still sort of up in the air. In my education classes, we talked about goals being specific and achievable tasks. The framing we used was called SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For every resolution you have, a SMART goal should be tied to it. That ensures that you're working towards something concrete instead of just sort of figuring things out as you go. Let's say your goal is to learn guitar. Let's apply the SMART goal objectives to this goal. So, is learn guitar specific? No, not really. So think about what learning guitar means to you. What do you want to be able to play? What music do you envision coming out of your guitar? I am really into bluegrass music, so let's adjust the goal. Learn bluegrass guitar. Great. It's still pretty vague, but it's more defined than it was before. Next, measurable. How do you measure learning bluegrass guitar? Well, one way to track your progress is how many songs you can play. So let's adjust the goal again. Learn bluegrass guitar by learning bluegrass standards. Then maybe I can make a list of some popular tunes that I want to learn. Achievable. This is where you need to realize where you are truly at with your progress. If you're brand new to guitar, you're probably going to be spending some time learning chord shapes, getting scales under your belt before you can jump right into learning songs. This is not the time to overhype yourself. Be honest. Really think of what you need to actually do to get better, even if it's not the most fun. I promise, this will make it a lot more fun later. So I know chord shapes pretty well. I can solo a little bit, so I think learning songs can remain the goal. Relevant. Do you like bluegrass music? If you don't like bluegrass music, this is not the goal for you. If you want to learn rock or metal, go learn rock or metal. Don't learn a different style or a different set of terms that don't relate to the thing you actually want to do. And obviously, if your main goal is to learn guitar, don't pick up the accordion or put down a goal to do 10 pistol squats. That is weird. Doesn't make any sense. And finally, time bound. I think this is the most important part of the goal, at least for me. Not only will this make your progress more measurable, but it keeps you on a path to actually complete things. If you only learn the chorus or a cool riff of a song and then fiddle away at the parts you don't know for 6 months, never really getting any better, you haven't actually completed anything. You haven't learned any songs. Giving yourself a time limit is a great way to combat this rut and actually focus on the things you need to improve upon. So let's say our goal is to learn bluegrass guitar by learning one tune, which includes the chords, strumming pattern, any solo lines, within a week. Now, this goal is specific, measurable, achievable for me, relevant to my interests, and time-bound. Of course, you can adjust these parameters if you find the goal is too demanding or not challenging enough for you. And you can take the same framework to every goal you have. For my reading goal, I wrote that I will read every single day, a varied amount, in order to complete a family book club list of 12 books within 1 year. Or 1 book a month. This goal still has some leeway. I don't have a specific page count or word count every single day to read, but the larger goal of 12 books a year or 1 book a month will help me decide how much time to give that goal every day, which will determine how much I read in that day. Reaching towards and achieving your goals is the easiest way to stay consistent and stay excited about your progress. We all know the feeling of going to the gym on January 1st just to burn out by the end of the month. But if you go in every week with the goal to lift heavier, run farther, that keeps you motivated because you're seeing progress. I really recommend writing down and tracking your progress as well, especially the goals that you feel are lower on your list of priorities. If you are only doing something once or twice a week, it can feel like you're not getting anything done. But if you can reference back a month or two and realize, oh yeah, I did learn that recipe, or oh yeah, my mile time is a minute faster, there's no better motivation in the world. If you got this far, thanks so much for watching. Type your goals in the comments below and let's cheer each other on. Subscribe to this channel for more videos that will be coming out regularly. I have some really exciting things on the docket and I can't wait to share them with you. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.